Hello there folks, and welcome to the stream. My name is Mike D'Angelo, aka That Tellest Guy. We are making maps today. Very specifically, we are going to be looking at the Eastern assets from Inkarnate, which just came out recently. Within the first couple of days, I had a chance to put together a dojo. So that's what you see on the screen right now. It's not really fair that I just show you a finished piece, so what we're going to do is take kind of what we learned from this map, and we're going to extend beyond that. I'm going to show you a new technique that I found that a lot of other people probably already knew about. I just kind of learned it in working with my brother the other day. I think it's something that can be pretty cool. But before we jump into this, I wanted to say yesterday, Monday, we did a Quantum Quest live play with 3 more guest players, and because of that live play, we managed to get a couple more people into our stream. We're going to be showing off some of the stuff that you can expect when we get to the affiliate level. We've got 25 followers left to go. Once we get to that point, we're going to unlock some cool stuff. Number one, you get all the cool stuff that you have from Twitch anyway. So you've got your channel points, you've got your emotes, things like that. I'll be showing off a little bit more about what kind of things to expect there as we go forward. But what I wanted to show you, because we hit 25 on a Quantum Quest stream, I wanted to show you something that was Quantum Quest related. So we're going to do this today and Monday of next week when we're talking Tellest some more. But this is what we can expect once we get to 50 followers, 100 followers, 200 followers, and so on. So first off, we're just going to show you what we can expect for 50 followers. We've been doing a lot of guest player stuff with Quantum Quest recently, and once we get to 50 followers, we're going to allow our followers to use channel points to queue into the next live stream of QQ. So if you are someone who's watching and you've thought, hey, that looks like fun, I want to try that, you will be able to do that. You'll be able to use your channel points to enter a queue, and when it's your turn, we'll figure out a schedule that works for you, and we'll make you one of the players in our game. If you get to 100 followers, then we're going to start to unlock things where people who are watching the game can actually affect how it goes. So not only could we have people who, are all over the world playing Quantum Quest, but we could have, their friends who are tuning in and passing them mana, which should be pretty cool. And then 200 followers is when things really start to get pretty cool. We've got all those cards, and we're going to be able to upgrade them on the fly in digital form. We really can't do that too much with a live version of the game, like a tabletop version, but when we are doing it like this, through Photoshop of all things, you can do some pretty cool stuff. So what we'll do is we'll prepare for those kind of things, and this will be just a cool opportunity for the channel to grow in some interesting ways. So you can see we have plans for Beyond as well, but we're going to see what we can do about unlocking the first set of these before we get there. Like I said, we've got more stuff to show as well. We're going to be showing off some things related to the emotes and things like that, but I don't want to waste too much time there. I want to make sure that we're looking at things like the map. That's what we're here to do, so we're going to do that. So one of the things that Matt and I were looking at was he's got, sorry, it's not playing nice. He's got a lot of maps that he builds that are not the template size that we usually work with. And that's not a bad thing. It's just when we're trying to throw these on our really nice like neoprene mats, there's not a lot that you can do with that if they're the wrong size. So what we were doing the other day was trying to figure out the best way to help him identify how to kind of configure that after the fact. If he's got like a map that's half this size, what can we do to expand on that? 1 second. I've got a light on in the hallway and it's causing a glare that's causing me a headache. Nice and quick. So one of the things that we found out was, I've always known that they had a resize tool. I didn't realize that you could resize what you already have. So say I'm Matt and I'm trying to expand my map out sideways. If it's this big, I can just double the size of it and do it this way. Now I don't want to do it that way. What I actually want to do in this case is, for a map that's going to be a sequel, it makes life a lot easier to just be able to do this and double the size of what you're working with. So I know that around this much here, if I do a snap to grid, it's going to give me 39, 39. I want 40, 40. And we'll move that up there. You can see that I've got double the size at this point, and if I hit confirm, it's going to ask me if I want to remove all the objects. In this case, I do not. I don't want to do that. I specifically don't want to do that because I'm going to just reuse a lot of these assets for the alternate version of our dojo. Whenever I talk a lot and talk fast, my voice just completely goes, so bear with me for a second. So this is going to load up a little bit. There's already 64 images in the map that it's got to deal with, so that's perfectly fine. What we're going to do is make sure that amongst all the other things that we've got going on, we are not going to... Is that the right grass? Yeah, it's the right grass. We're not going to have the river come up with everything, so we're going to cut that off there, and let's just throw in the rest of this. So the nice thing about what we have here is we can bring everything that we already know we want up and over. So I can very easily say, I want to grab all of that, make a copy. And now I've got a working blueprint that I can use for this map that gives me a little something that I can already work with. So what we're going to do is cut out some of these because I want it to be its own feeling. We're going to cut out some of the stamps that were in here. Now I've already saved this as an alternate map, so I can save over this. I'm not going to lose anything. And then ultimately what I'm going to do at the end of this is, instead of expanding, I'm going to contract. I'm going to crop this down with that resize tool. So that right there is about what we're going to get from this map. So it's pretty busy. You can see the reason that I made this dojo so big was because I'm going left to right. So there's not really a lot of room to do these kind of things over here. So we're going to change what we have somewhat. Right now we have it so that this kind of serves as our foyer of sorts. We're not going to be able to do that here because there's just not enough room. So what we're going to do instead is move this door up to here, and we'll fine-tune everything as we go. But for now, something like that's okay. And let's delete this here, and let's see, we've got 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. We've got this here, so we've got 4 here, 4 here. This is a nice center spot that we're going to take out, and get all these corner pieces and everything. So this is going to be pretty darn close. Let's see if we can't move that around a little bit more to center it a bit. And we know that that's going to come there. And let's get rid of the existing ones that were already there. This will make it look a little bit nicer. And we're going to take this piece. And you can kind of see what I typically do with these is I line it up with the way the grid lands anyway. Okay, that's actually pretty good. There's a pretty quick way of doing things. You can see the door moved up with everything. So we're just going to center that a little bit. Actually, I'm okay where it landed because that way it'll kind of pitch out a little bit. Let's take these two away for the same reason. Make sure we got everything. There. I know that I'm going to need another one of these little pillars. Now, we definitely are seeing a little bit of a change here and there because this is kind of like an inside room versus these ones that we have walls on both sides. So what we might do is change the layout of this inside room to reflect that. So instead of having these walls, which this one didn't land in the right way anyway, we'll take these and we'll move them down instead. Still have them on the top, those pillars, because that'll make it look nicer. But this will help with the consistency somewhat. Move that over one. And one of the things that you'll notice, obviously, is we've got grass on the inside of this dojo, so we're going to have to make some adjustments there as well. Let's throw that down, and this needs to move over a smidge. This one here is good, I think. Yep. All right, so we should be good. So like I said, we know right from the get-go that the grass needs to change. We can't have that. We're going to call that the dojo alternate. That's fine. So we should already have some floors. That's one of the other benefits of doing things this way versus the way that I do, where you just try and kind of spot check. If I was making a sequel to this, I already have most of the stamps that I need. They're all right here already. I have the terrain that I want to use. I'm not going to get 100%, I don't think, but it's going to be close enough where it's going to help a lot when it comes to making sequel maps and things like that. So one of the things that I want to do here is I want to try and emulate that style that I have right there. So the way that I did that before was I went into advanced settings, went into placement, and you can see we have a vertical offset and a horizontal offset. So we're going to try and see what 99... Oh, I got to make sure the unlock is on. 99.83 will get us. It doesn't look like the horizontal outset at 99.83 is going to do the same thing that the vertical outset did for us, right? It almost takes us 100% of the way that we already were. So let's do a Control-Z. We'll take that away. And let's see what 50 does for us. Now, 50 doesn't quite do it either. So what we can do is manually just run this up. See how close we're getting. Let's try 10. 10 doesn't quite do it. 12 doesn't do it. 13 doesn't do it. 14 gets close. 15 might be spot on. So let's try 15 real quick. It's very close, but I don't like it 100% yet. So let's keep on going a little bit with it. We've got 15.25. Let's see if we overdid it with 15.25. Nope. Keep it going. 15.5. Let's give that a try. All right, I feel pretty good about that. No, I lied. I don't like it. It's me being difficult. Don't mind me. Let's see, 16? 16 do it? we're like so close. You can see we're just off a little bit. Let's do 16.5 and see if 16.5 plays a little nicer. Oh, that looks good. I'm pretty sure that's the one. There we go. 16.5. That is the magic number for this map, for this kind of overlay here. Now, the other thing that you're going to see is here we had things in the actual dojo that kind of led there. So we had a shrine and an altar and things like that. We lost one room in the process of this. So what we have to do is figure out, do we want to... we're going to throw that on there just so that it's recent, because I want to make sure that we don't lose that. So I think we have to do foreground. We're going to do one of these real quick. Is that background? Interesting. It's interesting because for the river, I just kept it all one layer. I didn't do any depth or anything. I guess it's not important. It looks really nice. So one of the things that we're not going to see on this map is on this upper map, because it's an alternate, we're not going to do the river. We're not going to do the bridge or anything like that. So the really cool thing about this stone is, I think it's part of the Eastern set. Yep. It really, like, it automatically blends into the grass in some really nice ways. So we can do something like that. And then really what we can do is extend this outways. And we're going to make some things up here that should be kind of cool. But let's go into some different floor styles. So we went and did these two for the last ones. We did this one here. Let's do... I did the mosaic in the lobby of the one. That's for the Zen garden, so that's kind of like the sandy look. We've got marble and things like that. I don't really want to go crazy with any of that stuff. Let's do the cypress wood here. Right, that looks very nice. And then we'll go with a darker side over here. So it almost looks like it transitions from light to dark. Pretty cool that we're doing it that way. That, you know, leaves some yin and yang feelings in play. Let us grab one of these cherry blossoms. And that's all grouped up, so let me ungroup it. And we'll grab this guy here. We're going to throw that up there. And I purposely want it to kind of hang over the road. Do this one over here. And again, we're kind of playing with a little bit of duality here because we've got light over here, fully fleshed. We've got dark over here. Things are starting to look a little bit barren, things like that. So definitely playing with some things. The next thing that we're going to do is, you'll see these ponds that I played with. We're going to kind of reconstruct those in some interesting ways. So let's grab what we can minus the big tree, because I don't want that tree. And we'll put pieces of this up here. We're going to grab the whole thing. I don't know necessarily that we're going to do the statue. Well, we'll keep the statue for now, just in case. What I'm going to do is take pieces of this, move them around a bit. Alright, we know that we're going to have to move some of this stuff around. Let's see how that looks. That's pretty darn close. And then we've got a double here that we're going to use. Oh, that landed like almost perfect. So now we can see that it's not quite even. We've got this guy who's up a little too high. It just doesn't match up right, but for all intents and purposes, we're okay. Once that's all put together, you're not even going to notice it. So the way that I'm trying to envision this now is I don't want this to be a full pond like we have here. I want it to be something like, we're not going to do the full over here. We're going to do one. So let's move this around. Two might have worked, to be perfectly honest. Let's play with that real quick. Because the reason that I'm doing it like this... Yeah, two's not going to work, unfortunately. Two will work up there. The reason that I'm doing it like this is because... I want it to be a situation where we're going to bunch these up a little bit better so that I can snag that stuff as I go. I want it to kind of enclose this area. So let's change these a little bit more to make it look like those kind of close off. Right? That's pretty good. This needs to come up, but that's, all things considered, not too shabby. Really, really nice. Still have to negotiate that one a tiny smidge better. Pretty darn close. So let's do the same thing over on that side. We don't actually need that anymore. Trying to picture how best to put this together. We're definitely going to have at least one of these walls a little bit tweaked. I'll take like the one wall segment down here. Put that there. It comes together pretty nice. I mean, you're not going to notice it when the water is all there and everything. Same thing over on the other side, so we'll just copy, paste, flip, and scoot. Let's see. These ones are definitely a little wonky too. It's not too shabby there. Let's keep moving these guys out of the way. I don't need them yet. So the tricky part is going to be when we get up to that last bit up there, we have to figure out how to do an inside corner instead. And I think this will be the way that we do it. We're going to close that off here. That one off there. So that's a bottom right, but we should be able to use this one here. This is that nice little corner piece that we can use. And if we drop that down a layer, and do the same thing over here. That it blends in a lot nicer, and then all we have to do is get these three here, throw them down, move that down a layer or so, and now everything's closed off very nicely. And the only thing we have to figure out is, do we like the position where that is? So we've changed the feeling of this pull down here a lot. The shape definitely changes the way that it looks. we can do some cool things with this area now. Let's move it down a smidge. We'll kind of terminate it halfway in between here. The nice thing about that is it'll be right next to the room. Do the same thing over here because we are again talking about balance and duality and things like that. And what we'll do is we're actually going to clean up the cobblestone a bit. So let's do that. Shred that cobblestone down back to bare bones. Because we're going to actually have the cobblestone terminate into that area. So maybe like right around there. Same thing there. And then we're going to have, for all intents and purposes, we're going to have this terminate off the map. Comes in there. Don't need this little wall anymore. So, let's get the elements of the pool figured out. Brianna, you're on the stream, right? You're in the chats. Do you like the idea of one frog being here at the top, or do you like the idea of two frogs in the corners? I'm going to assume that's a frog. Two frogs minimum. So we're going to have two frogs. We're going to have one in each of the top corners of each of these pools. So we will have 4 total. Okay, so we'll copy both of those. Throw them over here. Kind of line them up a bit better. Well, I'll tell you what. If we are going to go that route, and we're going to make a third one, the one is not going to fit in the center like this, so we're going to scooch them down somewhat. We'll try 40. How's that? How's that look with the tiny frog in between? Or do I do all of the frogs that size and then move the other ones down to the bottom parts of the pool? Excuse me. Alright, so let's delete these guys and we'll start fresh. And we're going to have them all kind of looking in the same general area. So there's going to be a shrine in the center of this spot that someone can come and pray to before a battle or something like that. And copy that. Get rid of these guys. Okay. Again with the nice symmetry. Alright. So here at this point, we have a lot of stuff going on. The next step that we're going to have to pull together is going to be our pools of water. So down here, we did this kind of nice green water. I still have the blue water here, so that might be what we do. And let's kind of reevaluate what we have here, because you'll see if I'm working with the pond that I have now and I use the snap to grid method, we're going to have some splotchiness here. So that's not going to work. If I go down here, it just travels with us wherever we go. But what we can do is cut it down to there where you'll see at this point every part of this pond is within one of these tiles. So if I come here to the brush and I go to a fill, oop, that's not what I wanted to do. I come in here now apply it. We've got that pond filled in pretty nicely. Now, one of the things that you'll notice is down here. Nope, I didn't do that on this version. There's a version of this map that I'll show you. Gotta grab all these real quick. We'll just grab it for here for now, because I'm going to fill that with other stuff and I don't want to lose track of things. So you've seen me do this before, where I do a flatten to background. Now, if I go in here and I do my fill, you're going to see it starts to kind of go up the walls a little bit. So one of the tricks that you can do to help with that somewhat is if you go to the opacity, you change it to like 30%. Now the pool is just slowly starting to fill up. It's not all the way up there, it's little bits. We can keep applying more so it looks like it's filling up the pool a little bit more. You've got like the edges of the walls, so you can see, yes, there's deeper water down there, but Rihanna, when you say make it random, make it more random, less linear, what are you talking about? Well, they're statue frogs. They're not natural or anything like that. When we get to the point where we're doing like the fishies and the flowers and stuff, that's going to be a little bit more natural because things are going to flow a little bit more organically. But this is, you know, whatever craftsman put them together, they did it in such a way that it looks like this. Yep. Yeah, this is not a natural pond by any means. This is definitely... There's a lot of symmetry to this map because, you know, whoever, you know, built this area built it with this in mind. So scooch that down there too. We're going to do the same thing here to, again, make sure it's uniform. It's different because this is the dark side, so to speak. But we've got a sort of balance to the way that we're doing things. No, it's pretty. Okay, so the next step is we're going to take some green water. So I'm going to test this real quick just to see if I like it by itself. Oh, we want to do the full 100. So we've got that green. There's three different kinds that we can use. There's this green here, with those kind of like sprinklies, and I don't think that they're going to work the way that we want to do them. And then we've got this with like a bunch of lily pads already built in. It might be that they will work, but we need to change the size, because like those lily pads are pretty big. But if we change it to 30, for instance, and then we apply it, that's not too shabby. Let's go back to this one with the sprinklies, so to speak. So we've got, you know, whatever weird plant life here in the center. We've got nothing going on the left side, and then we've got a bustling ecology over here on the right. So what do we want to do with that? Do we want to say this one should be the busier one of everything, or should this be, you know, quiet, nothing too crazy, just like that one? What do you think, Rihanna? We got 1, 2, and 3. Well, the blue one is going to stay over there. We're going to keep that the way it is, but we've got 3 different styles of green over here. And the idea, again, is, you know, one is supposed to represent light, the other supposed to represent darkness. So we're going to try and change things a little bit over here, while still maintaining like the architecture and everything like that. But that's okay. That's why I'm giving you time. right side with the sproinglies and all the lily pads and stuff. Right, number 3 is our winner. Right, okay. So let's delete all that stuff so that we don't have the numbers over there, and let's go back to our textures, and we're going to do this bad boy here, filling up the rest of this area with all that stuff. This looks pretty uniform now. Again, what we'll do later is we're going to fill up this area so that it looks like things are floating on top and we see a little bit of transparency on the walls. But we have to put some other things in place first. So the big difference between this one and this one is we're still going to have some flowers and stuff. We're actually going to use every part of the fishies and everything that we had before. The big difference between this one and the other one is there's not going to be any living creatures in that other one. So we've got the fish here, again, representative of kind of life and death. And let's see what we got. We had turtles down here, but I don't think that there's a lily pad that we can throw in here. That's part of this set. So if we go to Eastern, a lot of stamps that we have, but not really anything lily pad related, so we can't do anything crazy there. We've got the water lilies, no lily pad, got bamboo trees, the azalea flower bushes. Yeah, nothing really that we can do. Not that that's a huge deal, it's not, you know, game breaking or anything. Let's see if they have a lily pad somewhere else that we can grab. It'd help if I spelled it right. Yep, don't think that they have anything. Let's just try Lily. See if we get anywhere. Nope. So that's alright. We're just not going to have any turtles in this area. You know what? Real quick, let's just look at the forest. See if maybe they're not giving anything by the name of lily pad, but we've got something else. And we've got water down at the bottom. Oh, you know what? I spelled it with a Y. There we go. So let's change the size to about 30. That's still too big. Let's do a 15 or a 20 or something. And actually, yep, perfect. It throws it behind that and everything. And we're just going to have one lily pad floating around on its own. Fish, 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 fish. Let's do a couple of lily pads up this way. Again, they are going to be floating, so we don't have to go too crazy about the way that things are, but let's grab our turtle now. Okay, we got our little turtle. He's floating on the lily pad. Everyone's having a good time. All right. So we are pretty good when it comes to some of these basics. Let's try and... We got to 162 changes before I realized I had to save. That was pretty risky, guys. Guys being myself and Rihanna. Let's figure out some other stamps that we can use to throw in here. So we're going to pretty much exclusively outside of these little things that we used, we're going to look at more Eastern stamps here. So let's see what we got. We got these marble stairs that we can use. We've got rough stone stairs. So right now, again, these kind of terminate here. I wonder if... And let's try this now. We're playing around. We're seeing what we can do here. That's too big compared to the little stones that we got there. So let's bring this all the way down to 10. 10 feels a little too far. Let me think here. Let's try something. I don't know if this is going to work, but we're going to play around a little bit. So far, we've been pretty chill with what we're doing. So we've got these stamps. Let's test what it's going to look like when we throw it to the background. Yeah, unfortunately, that kind of throws us for a loop there. Well, we can try and mess with the mask settings a smidge. Let's do this. We're not going to have any stroke, so to speak. Keep on going like this. And actually adding that mask there. Let's actually go to... do the same thing that we've been doing there. Okay. Take the rest of this stuff. I mean, we're probably going to walk this back just to see what we can do about cleaning the rest of it up. But I think this might be a pretty cool technique for this map. Oop, it took too far because we got the stairs and we didn't need them. So what we need to do on top of all that is get rid of the ripple effect. And the outline, the outer shadows, the inner shadows, like, we're getting rid of it all. And let's try, oh, I know I gotta go into here and we gotta flatten this last bit out here. Alright, so that actually looks really cool, I think. It gives this some elevation and makes it look like the rest of it's flying down. So, let's play with the rest of it. Let's do... Where's all this other stuff? Flatten this again to background. So that way, let's go into the water effect again. And we're going to do, again, 30%. Now the fish and the lily pads and everything like that, they're not going to move up with this. So it should end up helping us make it look real nice. I've got I got a lot of hope for this because I think it's going to look pretty cool. Ooh, we're doing the foreground. Gotta do the background. So do something like 30. Doot, doot, doot. Doot, doot, doot. So what do you think, Rhiannon? Does that look cool or does that look a little wonky? We did 3, so I'm going to dial it back and we'll try 2 for some of these. I like it on the outside edges, but maybe not on the inside platform. So it's supposed to be like a tilt, like a ramp wall that's coming up. So like you see how like it kind of like curves upward. So it's not supposed to be on the inside straight up like that. Let's try 2. And see if that gives a little bit more of like a semblance of like depth. Maybe we can do... we won't do a snap. Let's do something like that. And we will... you know what? So the rough thing about that is that you can't really do like an eraser or anything like that. I don't know. I'll have to think about it. I mean, clearly the idea is that this, like, it kind of leads up to it, but it almost comes out a little too far. Let me think. Tell you what. We're here. We're going to delete everything. We're going to remove those things from the background. Specifically and Atlantically. So I'm going to try and see if I can get it a little bit better. And I'll show you why. So we're going to recreate what we're doing right now in the original tools. Your delete happiness. For whatever reason, it does not want me to undo that one. So we might have to throw them all in there. It might not let me. Nope, it's letting me. We got this. I know you've got this, dude. Excuse me. Come on. You can get there. I know you can. The nice thing is, even if I didn't, do any of this stuff, I'm only 15 changes away from where we were when we saved. So we're not, like, hugely far away from anything. Alright, so that was where we started this whole charade. So let's come back down here. We're going to look at these guys down here. We're going to actually just throw everything down here to background just so that we can play with it a little bit. So if I flatten that to background, you can see everything's under the grid layer and everything like that. We're going to come in here. It's just the plain water effect here. Oh, gotta snap to the grid again. And why are you doing it like that? That's kind of weird. I don't like it. What are you doing? What is going on here? Alright. So here, if we apply it, it has a nice, better feel to it. Wouldn't you agree, Rihanna? Doesn't that have, like, it feels like it terminates at the wall, not at the lip of the wall or anything like that. And I do think 2 is the magical number. So I think what we're going to try and do is up here, you'll see we've got these walls here halfway in between. These walls over here don't look so bad. And they'll terminate nicely, I think. But these walls over here, they need to be scooched over a bit. So let's delete that stuff down there. Not that it really matters because, you know, it is what it is. But let's use this as our saving point. We might not actually finish this tonight, but I think in the 51 minutes that we played around, minus the time that it took to get started and everything, we did a decent amount. We did some pretty cool stuff today. So let's do this. We're going to start off by grabbing the entire thing again. And the first thing that we need to do is make sure that that's moved up in such a way that when we do the grid, the white parts of those are what need to be showing off the grid, so to speak. And same thing over here. So we need to extend that so that the white part hangs off the side. You can see that down here, things got a little janky. So let's move these over a smidge. And this wall here can be there. Now the unfortunate thing is down here, these need to be moved down to account for that little lip going there. I did not knock over any bookshelves, and that's kind of sad, but not really. All right. That terminates nicely. Same with that over there. You can almost not tell that anything's going wonky or pear-shaped or anything. So let's lock the stairs so we don't have to worry about them for now, and we can keep on playing with this stuff. Now, over here, that looks nice, but down here we know that we need to move these. So we're going to bring them down to about there, and we're going to bring the left side over, and it needs to be higher than the stairs. And these ones over here need to be like so. Bring that over, bring that over. Switch them down. Oh, not here. A fishy! A fishy made its way. Can't really do too much with that one. This one needs to come down a smidge. That one's pretty good. Now here is where we're going to run into the weird problem, so we're going to have to move that over a smidge. These actually should come down a little bit. In fact, at the top, I wonder if that should be something like that. What do I got here? Move that down. something like there. Move that down, same thing. Something like there. Scooch this guy over just a smidge in whatever directions. There we go. I feel like that's a nice look. We still got to figure some of the stuff out, but I think that gives us a nice little starting beat. Let's come in here, and again, we're going to get rid of all these little effects and everything. That's not giving us, it's not doing us any favors. I think 755. After playing with this a little bit, what we'll do is very likely just completely cut that out and bring this over and just change the colors and change the you know, things like that there. But this, again, 55 minutes. We did a pretty good job. Let's do a save. 74 changes in. This will very likely be an alternate map for the dojo that we already have. So it'll be part of the either $5 level, or we might add to the $10 level. I still have to figure out what it is, because we don't do these alternates too often. I don't know if that means that we should keep them at the $5 level or if we should make it special. So I'll have to ruminate on that a smidge. But for now, this kind of puts us to a fun little position. Let me get ready to close up the show, and we'll kind of go from there. It was a quiet one today, but that's perfectly fine. Let's we'll do another round of Starfield downstairs. We'll see if we have a better time than we did. Let's see. Give me 1 second. Hey, thanks for joining. I don't know my own name until now. I appreciate it. I would love a chocolatey tea milk. All right, let's close this show up. Alrighty. So, folks, I wanted to thank you for watching my stream today. On the screen now, you should see all the places you can find Tellest and That's Entertainment content. To find anything out about the Tellest Fantasy Universe, you can go to Tellest.com. For the battle maps my brother and I create, you can go to Patreon.com/Tellest. To see my streams live, be sure to check me out here on Twitch.tv/ThatTellestGuy. To see all the streams that I've ever strung for maps and Talking Tellest, you can check out my YouTube channel at youtube.com/@WorldOfTellest. For our video game related content, you can go to thatentertains.com or the That's Entertainment YouTube, youtube.com/@that'sentertainmentgames. To find all of our awesome merchandise, including high quality mouse pads, handcrafted magic wands, battle maps, posters, and more, head to our shop at etsy.com/shop/Tellest. We will be back again tomorrow. Tomorrow we're going to be looking at a new map. We're going to be doing the sewers underneath Versailles Barai. That is a map that I've done before with a completely different tool set, and certainly a much different map size. So we're going to see what we can do with the Inkarnate tool set, and see if we can bring that to life in some interesting new ways. And we'll just go from there. So thank you for joining, and I'll talk to you next time.